She was a mother, a teacher, and a pastor's wife. She was found dead in her own home. A suicide note lay beside her body, but something about it didn't sit right. The handwriting, the wording, the timing, it all felt too neat, too scripted. What looked like a tragedy would unravel into a chilling murder, plotted by the one man that was supposed to love and protect her. This is A Minister, a Mistress, and a Murder, the case of Carrie Baker. I'm Nicole Grigg. Welcome to Crime Diaries. Please, this is for extra educational purposes only. Please hit subscribe and like to follow my page for more crime stories. Thank you for joining me today.
Carrie Baker was 31 years old, a quiet, kind woman who taught at Spring Valley Elementary School. She loved her students, she adored her daughters, and she was married to Matt Baker, a local Baptist pastor. Matt and Carrie met when they were students at Baylor University in Waco, Texas. They married 3 months later at Carrie's parents' home. Matt later attended Baylor's George W. Truett Theological Seminary and became a Baptist preacher. During this time, Matt and Carrie had 2 daughters, Kenzie and Cassidy. In 1998, tragedy struck, and Cassidy was diagnosed with a brain tumor. After treatment in the hospital, she seemed to be on the road to recovery and returned home. But one morning in March 1999, Matt Baker walked into Cassidy's room and found her not breathing. Cassidy's death had a great impact on Carrie's life, as one would imagine so. Carrie sought counseling and wrote passages about her daughter in her Bible. In April 2006, at midnight, the call came into the 911 dispatcher from Matt Baker. He said his wife had sent him to the store around 11 for a movie and fill up the car with gas. He stated that when he returned, the bedroom door was locked. Matt used a screwdriver to open the door. That's when he found his wife unconscious and naked on the bed. The emergency responders noted that when they arrived, that she had on a t-shirt and underwear. Matt claimed he dressed his wife while on the phone with 911. A typed suicide note found on a dresser along with an empty bottle of sleeping pills. Officers took pictures of the scene. They called the County Justice of Peace. After speaking with them by phone and without going to the house, the Justice of the Peace ruled Carrie's death a suicide and did not order an autopsy. Carrie's parents, Jim and Linda Doolin, were summoned to their daughter's home the night of the death. While they had difficulty accepting that Carrie had killed herself, they did not seem to find any other explanation. Carrie was pronounced dead early Saturday morning, and Matt insisted the funeral be on Monday. Approximately 10 days later, Linda Doolin, Carrie's mom, got together with her 3 sisters, who told Linda that Matt had hit on several young women over the years. They had kept this to themselves while Matt was married to Carrie, so Linda was stunned. Linda revived to find out what the truth was about Carrie's death. The Doolins had added Matt and Carrie to their cell phone plan a while back, and in checking the phone bill, Linda noticed several calls from Matt Baker to Carrie's cell after her death.
Within weeks, Matt had approximately made 180 calls to the phone, as many as 17 calls in one day. After investigating further, it was found Matt had given Carrie's phone to a young woman from church named Vanessa Boyles. Suspicious of their son-in-law, as they should be, the Doolins hired a former assistant district attorney and assistant U.S. attorney, Bill Johnston, to investigate. In turn, Johnston asked 2 one-time lawmen for Deputy U.S. Marshal Mike McNorma and former Deputy of Public Safety undercover agent John Bennett to assist him. In September 2006, police were able to get Carrie's body exhumed, and an autopsy was conducted at that time. There was still no clear cause of death, but the generic form of Ambien had discovered in her muscle tissues. The team working with the Doolins discovered that Matt had searched that drug online too when they confiscated his computer at the church. They found out he had searched that along with pornographic material as well. The Doolins at that time then hired a toxicologist and pathologist. The toxicologist's opinion was that because no pills were found in her stomach during the autopsy, he did not believe she had an overdose, nor did she die within 45 minutes, the time Matt Baker said he was gone from the house to go to the store and to get gas for his wife. The new findings made it crucial for the investigating. They got a clue from a woman who worked at a jewelry store. The woman said that a couple came in, and it was Matt and another woman, about 2 weeks after Carrie's death, to the jewelry store, and they were looking at engagement rings. At that time, the JP held an inquest in August of 2007 at the Doolins' urging, and once the results of the autopsy came back as well, he took the evidence from the toxicologist, from the pathologist, the police officers, and Doolins. Matt Baker did not testify at the hearing. In the end, the JP changed his previous ruling of death from suicide to undetermined. In October, Matt was then arrested for murder on a warrant from the Hewitt Police Department based on numerous facts, including the timeline, some of his during the 911 call, searches of his office, the computers, the affair with Vanessa Bowles, the toxicology autopsy. The JP then changed the cause of death from suicide to, of course, that's what it was during that when he was arrested. He changed it. Matt Baker's versions of events was that he left the home, got a movie, of course, and for Carrie around 11:10. The 911 call was received at midnight. That would mean that Carrie would have an overdose and die within her husband's 45 to 50-minute absence. The problem with the scenario was that the medical people believed that time frame was unlikely, but it wasn't unbelievable. It wasn't impossible. So it would be tough to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. Also, Carrie's body had been embalmed. So most of the medical experts were unable to conclusively say whether drugs had caused her death. The other question was lividity. The consensus with the lividity can form in 20 minutes or hours after death. The pictures of Carrie that were taken were around 12:30 and showed little of that. However, the photographs were not close up. The doctors were unwilling to say whether the pictures could prove when the death occurred. Vanessa Bowles, the woman that Matt had a relationship with and had Carrie's phone as well, during previous questioning, she had denied any relationship with Matt Baker or knowledge of Carrie's death. Vanessa was then subpoenaed to grand jury. She brought her attorney, who said that Vanessa intended to take the fifth, but she had some information she did want to share with the jury. She admitted to each one of having been at the jewelry store with Matt Baker, having the phone, and she admitted to each one of them saying that they were not in a intimate relationship. Vanessa was then asked if she had anything to do with Carrie's death. She stated that Matt had told her he had killed Carrie. After Vanessa's detail of the conversation with Matt, the DA was consulted, who was instructed the attorney that they would prepare a murder indictment against Matt Baker. The investigators at that time still thought Vanessa was not disclosing everything. She was holding back. One of the investigators met with Vanessa on March 31st. Vanessa basically told him the same details she had told to the grand jury. But once the investigator turned off the tape recorder, Vanessa asked him if he believed her. He replied that he did not think she was telling him everything. Vanessa then admitted that her and Matt had slept together one time in the master bedroom of the Baker's home before Carrie's death. She explained that Matt had been flirting with her in November and early December of 2005. And by mid-December, the flirtation had become more open and they were not hiding it any longer. Matt began saying things to Vanessa like, "Don't date that guy, your preacher." He told Vanessa he had cheated on Carrie before and she had no clue about it. He stated to Vanessa that he did not have any STDs and that he was unable to get Vanessa pregnant. Vanessa told investigators that Matt talked very negative about Carrie. She was depressed, and he was the primary caretaker of the children. That Carrie was lazy, and the girls did not like their mother. Vanessa and Matt began a sexual relationship in late February 2006. Matt told Vanessa that Carrie was, and that if Matt told Vanessa was hideous, and that if Vanessa ever fell so much in love, he would find a way out of the relationship. By March, Matt was running his murderous ideas by Vanessa, suggesting such things as tampering with Carrie's brakes or setting up a drive-by shooting, remarked that he would hang Carrie and convince authorities that it was a suicide. Vanessa said that Matt told her even tried to buy Ropanol, a date drug, to incapacitate his wife. Matt had finally settled on a plan. He would slip something into Carrie's drink and leave a suicide note. When Vanessa asked how he intended to write a note, Matt replied that he would type it. Vanessa told him that he could not type a suicide note. Matt replied that Carrie typed it and that it was coming up on the anniversary of Cassidy's death, and the family was very aware of Carrie's, so no one would be suspicious. 2 weeks before Carrie's death, Matt told Vanessa that he had made Carrie a milkshake spike with medication, but she had refused to drink because it tasted like lead. Then on Friday, April 7th, Vanessa knew that Matt intended to make another attempt at Carrie's life during his date night with her that evening. On Saturday morning, Vanessa's mother woke her up and told her that Carrie was dead. Word of the death had spread quickly among the church members. Vanessa's parents had went to the Dolan's home later that day to offer condolences. As they were leaving, Matt followed them out and winked at Vanessa. The next Wednesday, while the Baker girls were sat with Matt in his living room, and he detailed Carrie's murder as if it was nothing, as he was telling a campfire story. He had taken apart some of the sexual stimulant capsules filled them with Ambien and given them to Carrie. As Carrie became groggy, he took her to the bedroom and handcuffed her to the bed, where he engaged in foreplay until she fell asleep. Carrie was snoring, but alive. Matt kissed Carrie's forehead and told her to give Cassidy a hug and kiss for him, and he placed a pillow over her face. Carrie struggled, moving her head back and forth a few times between the ambulance and the handcuffs. Matt was able to overcome her, of course. He then took the pillow off her face, but she opened her eyes and took a big gulp of air. He replaced the pillow on Carrie's face, this time applying pressure around her nose and mouth. When he was sure that Carrie was dead, he removed the handcuffs, typed the suicide note on the home computer, rubbed Carrie's hands on the note in case they checked for fingerprints, and placed the note and bottle of sleeping pills on the bedside table. Staging the scene, Matt left the house to establish his alibi. He locked the bedroom door on his way out, leaving his two daughters in the house with their mother's body. Lucky for Matt, the police never did check the couple's home computer for the suicide note. Vanessa's statements confirmed the investigators' suspicions, but how much she knew was even more shocking. Vanessa was also provided that Matt had sent her an MP player song, Dirty Little Secret, by the All American Rejects. Matt identified strongly with the lyrics. He said, "I'll keep my dirty little secrets. Don't tell anyone. You will just be another regret." Vanessa broke the relationship off with Baker. They next called Linda, who wanted to tell them that Carrie had told her about finding some crushed pills in Matt's briefcase before death, but no one knew what they were. The defense tried to put Carrie as being depressed. She had several emails. She expressed sadness over Cassidy's death. The defense called a DNA expert to testify about DNA on the suicide note, but the numbers were so low that they didn't point to any individual. There were several fingerprints on them. The defense finally did rest. They did not call Matt Baker to the stand. The jury took approximately 7.5 hours before returning the guilt verdict
They called several women he had molested over the years. One incident, a young woman who had gone to the hospital to visit the Bakers while their daughter Cassidy was ill. They also had a testimony that he was consistently visiting pornographic sites. In the end, Matt Baker was convicted of murdering a 65-year sentence. So Matt was definitely a fallen preacher from the prison cell. This isn't just a story of a killer, it's about a system that trusted him because of his position, a church that protected him, a justice system that nearly failed her. Carrie's death could have been forgotten, label closed, shelved forever, but it wasn't because of her parents, her uncle, her friends. They kept speaking for Carrie when she never could. So in the end, Carrie Lynn Baker got justice, but it did come at a cost. And it serves as a reminder the most dangerous kind of evil is the kind that wears a smile and preaches from the pulpit. Thank you for joining me today. Please remember to hit and like and join me at my next episode of Crime Diary. Thank you, and I hope you have a good, safe rest of the week.